Hello everyone, Crystal here. Well, it's April and still nothing about Animal Crossing Switch. We know as much as we did when they first teased it last September, actually. We currently really only know that the game is due out in 2019, but we haven't seen a single screenshot or video of actual gameplay, and we don't even know the official title. So, since I'm beginning to lose it due to lack of information, I figured it might be time to make an updated what I want to see in Animal Crossing Switch list, except with a twist. I talk to you guys almost daily on stream about Animal Crossing Switch, so let's spice things up and say what we want to see in Animal Crossing Switch. These are some of the most common requests I hear from you guys. I hear this one a lot. People would love Nintendo to introduce a dedicated section in your inventory for tools. And it makes sense. Since the beginning of the series, tools have always taken up space in our general inventory. It would be nice not to have to resort to stuffing our old letters with tools. So both Happy Home Designer and Pocket Camp have actually done this, so I would be horribly surprised if Animal Crossing Switch doesn't, but we really need the ability to at least choose our skin tone at the beginning of the game. The idea that this wasn't included in New Leaf is still a little bit weird to me. They introduced Cyrus and furniture refurbishing in New Leaf, and it's honestly great. We'd love to see them expand on this by letting us have more control over unique aspects of the furniture. For example, this GameCube shelf. I love the color of the shelf here, but I would like the black GameCube instead of the orange one. This is actually something I brought up in my older video, but it definitely still holds true. Having the ability to move furniture around diagonally, or even over like a half-grid layout, would make things seem so much more lived in terms of our homes. This one I mentioned in a very old video now. Animal Crossing used to do more unique festivals, but they kind of phased them out by the time New Leaf came around. The Sports Fair, Cherry Blossom Festival, aerobics, just to name a few. It would spice things up between our normal holidays and like the fishing and bug events. And I'd also love to see them add more Animal Crossing world lore almost related events as well. So I'm kind of on the fence with this one, so I'll explain how I personally would like it to be handled if they decide to do this. Many people have definitely suffered from having a villager move into a bad spot. I'm pretty sure that's almost a universal thing if you play Animal Crossing. While I don't want, complete control from the start on where everyone goes, I would love them to bring back the signposts. These posts were used in every game up until New Leaf, and they were scattered around your town. They were kind of to show you potential move-in spots for villagers. What I would love to have is the ability to purchase a signpost as a public works project, so you can place it down somewhere and have a villager move into that spot. I feel like this is fair in two ways. First, people who want villagers to move in wherever still have that option. And second, we don't have the ability to instantly organize our town from the start, we actually have to earn it. In City Folk, they introduced villager hide and seek, and it's honestly very cute. It gives your villagers, just a little bit more personality in terms of interacting with them more than just the usual, fetch quests. I'd love to see more minigames like this, to be honest. This one could be a really interesting way for Nintendo to add new flowers into the game without having to actually add in proper flowers. I think this would add a lot more variety to our towns if we could have maybe a garden of, say for example, tulip and rose hybrid flowers that are their brand new look and design by themselves. In addition to this, more flower colors. Roses have the most, I believe. Why not have more for the others? I believe this is probably the most requested new feature I actually hear about. Currently we have these amazing people online who make these beautiful custom designs that we place down, and I use quotation marks here, as paths around our town, and these are great, except they're not actual paths, and I'm constantly kicking them up by accident. I'd love to see them introduce the ability to purchase pavement essentially, and you can lay it around your town however you want, and maybe even change the look of it. And then as well, I'd also like to see villagers stick to the path when walking around town, just to add a little bit more realism to it. Now, this one has been speculated for a very long time, but a lot of people think we're going to be getting a new method of transportation in the new game. The most common one I see is hot air balloon, which is actually really super cute. Now don't get me wrong, I love the original train from the GameCube version, but a new means of transportation would be cool. I can already see Porter piloting the balloon. Similar to Paths, we already have design slots for custom clothing designs. I do hope that they continue that feature, however, I'd also love the ability to customize in-game clothes that we get from the Able sisters. This actually came up during a recent stream where we were discussing the idea of having different colored pajamas besides the standard pink and blue. Just in addition to this, actually, give us the option to edit in-game wallpaper and flooring as well. Sometimes you find something you really like, but the colors are just kind of off by a smidge. I know a lot of people are on the fence about this one, and I just want to say up front, I think Pocket Camp is a great little game. It feels like Animal Crossing and it's cute. That being said, I cannot play that game for more than about a week at a time. I just end up losing interest. However, I would also be very surprised if they did not include some small form of integration. My guess is that they could use the Nintendo account that you have linked to your Pocket Camp and your Switch to maybe transfer Pocket Camp exclusive items over to the Switch game? I actually mean two different things by this. First and foremost, people always ask for new animals to be villagers. Common ones I always hear are sloths, raccoons, turtles, and foxes, which is kind of funny because we have them as NPCs in the game already, but we don't actually have them as villagers. I personally would love to see a fruit bat villager, but you know, that's just me. The other meaning behind the different villager types is in terms of their personalities. We currently have 8 unique villager types, and people generally want there to be more variety. Maybe a sassy villager type? This one is going to be kind of tricky to handle. Since the beginning of the series, we've always had a limit of 4 player characters, whether offline or online. I'm curious to see if Nintendo will up their game on the Switch, and if so, how they're gonna handle it. I love this suggestion, and it was actually you guys who brought it up to me. The idea that before you invite people over, you have a settings menu where you can influence how your play session goes. For example, maybe you want to invite people over to play games and nothing else. You could limit their ability to make changes to your town, like pulling up flowers, for example. Or maybe you don't want people to run in your town. They could have a setting for that. There are a lot of possibilities with this one. This one is another great one that I personally love to see. Currently, to play a proper game with other people, we kind of have to travel over to the island, which is, you know, great. I'd like to see them expand on it in the next game. However, there isn't really anything structured to do around your town. I think it would be really neat to set up a proper game of hide and seek, for example, even like, you know, with the counter, with the timer and everything, all while still in your town. I'm not exactly sure how this one would work. My idea is that on top of trading fruit back and forth to collect all of them in your town, maybe we could also trade trees, and trust me, I know that sounds kinda silly, but the idea is them adding more tree variety. For example, we already have regular fruit trees, palm trees, and pine trees, but what if we could get other unique types of trees in our town like cherry blossoms or maple trees? This is another one I hear quite often. People would really like bushes to be worth more. Currently we have 5 types of unique bushes, but what if they added in more that could be harvested like trees? I think it would add a lot more emphasis on them for sure. I hear this one a lot, and I can't quite figure out why people think they might not include Amiibo support. I'm assuming Nintendo is going to really push Amiibos, since both the cards and the figures do work with the Switch. They will likely have a similar role to what they do in Welcome Amiibo. I can definitely see Nintendo releasing new cards and figures with the new characters that we can expect in the next game. So, fear not, Amiibo collectors, it will all come in handy, I'm sure. Ever since the beginning of the series, we've had a pretty stationary camera. We can now flip the camera up to look at the sky, which is, you know, pretty neat, but how about being able to freely control your camera? It would be a huge change in the way we lay out our towns, and for the first time we might actually be able to see behind buildings. This is such a huge thing for me, you guys have no idea. The amount of times I've been out with Isabel and she just refuses to let me put down a public works project. It would make things much easier if maybe the camera panned up and a grid appeared on the ground with colors, you know, to indicate where you can and can't place things. If you guys have ever played games like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon: A New Beginning, I'm thinking of a grid system similar to those games. And those were just some of the requested updates and changes for Animal Crossing Switch that I've heard from you guys. If I missed one that you really want to see, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Either way, I know we're all very excited for the next installment of Animal Crossing, so let's all get hyped and show Nintendo all the love when they finally do give us something.